Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the talk show of myexam.ai. And today we have Abhilek with us. Hi, welcome. Abhilek, welcome to the show.
Hi Rasna, thanks for having me here.
So, Abhilek, first of all, your name is very unique, and I'm sure people get very confused with this.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it means, the old inscriptions which were written on rocks. So something like, you could say books and stuff like that.
So then we have the right person on the show then.
I guess so. Yeah.
All right. So just to introduce Abhilek before we move forward with the show, Abhilek Verma is a copywriter and a sales coach running his own consulting business for many years. And he's taught many of the BBA and MBA college subjects like marketing, corporate laws, business laws, strategic management, economics, and statistics, and many more to a lot of students. So he's been into teaching for quite number of years now, and also had experienced the entrepreneurship category as well, I would say, with business development. So his Abhilek, what's your passion? Would you like to describe a little more about yourself, or would you like the audience to know a little more about you?
Yeah, I mean, I love mentoring people. I think that has been, from the day one, my passion. So, helping people around that. And again, students, because again, right now, if you see, everything is virtual. So, there are times when they want to share things, but they can share to their parents or, so I know those things which used to happen, even with us when we were kids, we would not like to open up so easily. So I started working around on, stuffs like introverts, how they behave, because I was also an introvert earlier. So I started getting a lot of traction, and actually been lucky to mentor a lot of students globally as well. So I have a lot of students who actually come to me asking, like, what's the next thing I should take up in the career, or is there any specific artificial intelligence, or a good startup like yours, to whom I could recommend, so they could help us out that way. So this has been a good traction, especially during the pandemic right now.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think that's a wonderful job because what we see around that in terms of teaching academics is always a
Mm-hmm.
focus for all the parents, all the teachers and tutors. However, guiding is what is missing. Guidance is what is missing, and guidance is what people are looking at now. In fact, in our last talk show, we also had discussed this that these days it what is important is the guidance and not the teaching, because if you give one word to a student, that student will go to Google, search it, and answer you much better way the way I could answer as a teacher. But
Right.
the guidance of how to use that knowledge, where to use that knowledge, and what to do is very important. So I think you're doing a wonderful job. So applause to you for that. And moving forward, Abhilek, I have a couple of very pain point questions as a
Mm-hmm.
parent, as one of the entrepreneur, I would say, now getting into edtech. Um, i would i would like to know a few points which I have not seen they were covered in any of the webinars, especially after post NEP, because everybody is talking about NEP. but
Right.
but there are a lot of simple questions that have not been addressed because
Mm-hmm.
they're just overshadowed by NEP. So moving forward with that, Abhilek, we'll keep this show very short and crisp, because we understand that there's a lot of screen time, and that's what we are going to talk about today. So we don't want people to be in front of the screen for a longer time. So let's quickly jump into the questions. So my first question to you, Abhilek, is now, because everything is online, webinars, classes, and all the tutorials, even the corporate trainings, everything is online. How do you think, especially for a student, where
Mm-hmm.
we used to, as parents, we used to tell students to not to be in front of this screen for a longer time, right? So now that everything is online, how do you think they can manage the screen time? How do you have anything around that?
Yeah, I mean, there are like a lot of students who came to me with, this same challenge right now, because earlier everything was, they used to go to the school or college and they used to sit in front of the teacher, they could get guidance and all. But now it's completely changed. So there are some strategies I gave them, I would like to share. So the first one is make them earn it. So for example, like, just like you see, everyone has a son or daughter, but what it happens is there are a lot of things now they are doing at the home as well. So for example, somebody is cleaning their room, making their bed, right? So, have a timeline, how much time do they take? And then, if for example, somebody, does a 15 minutes of an effort, so let them play for 15 minutes, in lieu of that. So what generally it happens is they'll be also very much happy, to complete tasks at home, because as parents, what is happening right now is they're just thinking, why are students not getting results? Even studying, let's say 5 hours on a Google Meet, with the teacher right now, but it's just so many hours they are also spending at household as well. So if we can help them understand that, okay, look, you're doing a great job already, you're spending 5 hours on a screen, but on top of it, so you're doing a lot of household work. So when you try to do and help us in the household work, so we will also help you in terms of giving that extra hours to put that as a screen time. So for example, somebody is cleaning their room, it takes roughly 15 to 20 minutes. So look, now you can go online and play for a 15 or 20 minutes. So this is one way, something which I say make them earn it, right? Then there's another way is advanced barter system. So for example, right now we see most of the, it's not just the students, even us, when we are taking meal, for example, so we are texting, right? So this is some habit which is not good. We all know that. But what we could do instead to the students is maybe if they quit doing that habit, let's say, in a week they do 5 times, they stop doing that, so they could play their favorite game, so giving them some kind of a bait, just like an advanced barter system. So this is the second way we could make sure that their screen time is getting utilized that way. And another way is reducing micromanagement, because right now you see what happens is everything what they're doing, they're going to Facebook, they're going to Instagram. So every time, we are worried, we are thinking like, what we should do to reduce that. Instead of that, we should provide alternatives to them. So for example, they're spending that amount of time on a Facebook or Instagram, find what they are watching, find, what are the distractions they're going through, and then replace it with something like a comedy or a thriller show, watch with them. So what it happens is you're providing an alternative to them instead of just saying them, look, you cannot do Facebook or Instagram right now. Right. And another way is like most of the students I find they playing a lot of games online. Thank God PUBG is banned, but still they play, they have shifted to a lot of games online. So what another way could be like, you could take them out sometimes, to a park, somewhere nearby, because of the COVID situation, you cannot go outside much, but maybe to a safer distance and make them feel a little bit more light. So that what you're trying to do is you're replacing those screen time with something else as a better alternative. And again, it will have a great impact. So that these are some of the things I would recommend. And the last, which is very, very important, I feel right now is, spend time with them more. So just like, for example, I've seen a lot of families, they publish a family blog online, or they write reviews on a specific application or game. So these are little things if you can do with your child at home, I think their screen time can be, well utilized that way. Hope it makes sense.
Yes, of course, definitely it does. Just in addition to that, I think adding some indoor games will also help. Something like carom, maybe, or something like a chess,
right.
Maybe something like a Ludo, for that matter. So there's a time when Ludo is also online. There's an app for Ludo as well.
Yes,
My son
absolutely.
wanted to play that all the time on the app, and I'm like, it's the same game right next to you. And so I kind of enforced that we should play it live right in front of
right
with each other. So
I mean, I feel just to stop. I mean, I feel why they play online versus offline is because there is some kind of social peer pressure. So, for example, if somebody is playing online Ludo, so they get points. So they want to go to the next level. It's just like playing Farmville on a Facebook, right? So when you go to level 1, you want to go to level 2. But when you do offline, we don't have that option. So, right. Providing them some kind of incentives that way, maybe to, help them out. So I think they can also get back to offline mode as well.
Absolutely. And I think adding some physical exercise or some physical activity is something very important. I was just
absolutely.
I was just seeing my son, doing some exercise today morning.
Hmm.
They feel like we never did exercise because these were a part of our daily play games, like we were already doing this and we never knew that these are exercises. It was just by accident, it was a part of our daily regime. However, for them, we have to specifically add exercise to their routine because playtime, outdoor games are little less, and especially now. So I think thank you so much for those beautiful points, and that makes a lot of sense. I will also use them back at home and see how it
Sure.
helps me out. So moving to the
Yeah.
next question, Abhishek, it would be um, while we, kind of emphasize a lot on education, which is of course definitely important, and as a parent, I totally buy that point. However,
Hmm.
how do you think can we kind of not kill the childhood? I really appreciate the point that you mentioned that we should give them space and we should not do the micromanagement because everybody has that private space. Everyone has that
Hmm.
personal space. No matter how young the child is, everyone has that small little ego inside them, and we should respect that as parents. So keeping all that in mind, at the same time, how do you think can we definitely emphasize on education but not kill the childhood in somebody's life or a child's life?
Right. So I feel the first thing is we need to understand, why we are behaving like that. So like most of the parents, they're concerned of their career. That's the number one thing, right? So they want them to get a great job, something like, for example, right now coding is going on as a great thing. Then there's artificial intelligence, machine learning, digital marketing, something like design thinking, psychology. So there's so many parents out there, they want their son or daughter to be a CA, engineer. So what we have to do here is we understand that at the end they are going to get a job, but try to make those big tasks into small tasks. Okay, so for example, now somebody wants to learn digital marketing, so you give them a test to
Mm,
find how strong they are into that. So what it happens is it will keep your child engaged in that,
mm,
right? So you need to find which of the areas are they are very good at. Maybe having giving them a lot of tests would identify their strengths and weaknesses.
mm,
Once you know their strengths, we could work on their strengths. So I highly believe that parents should understand what is that thing they really want to do with their career. So for example, there are a lot of kids out there who really get enthralled with a lot of entrepreneurship opportunities, but in colleges, very rare entrepreneurship or something like how to manage budgets and finance are being taught that extensively. So we need to understand what they are good at, and based upon that find which is the perfect education or which is the perfect job which is fit for them, and then make some small tasks to check whether they're actually fit for that or not, just like how an HR checks, right? So whether you're fit for a job or not. So as a parent, it's important to check whether they're fit for that specific skill set or not. Once you feel they are fit, they are doing good in those tests, I believe you should then go to the next level and then recommend, look, I feel this is something, very important to you, because again, this is all coming from the data and this is what everyone is betting on. So you have that data to tell them like, look, these are the reasons I feel this is good for you. And then they will be also very happy because they are getting that thing in return. Like, look, they are doing amazingly well in that.
mm. Absolutely, absolutely. I cannot agree more with that because
Mm-hmm.
I totally second that because I feel it's very important to pay focus on what they are good at and rather than pushing
Mm-hmm.
them for something which they are not good at. So I think that's
Right.
very important. At the same time, again, I feel, and it's my humble request to all the parents. Um, we do not get carried away with the wave of whatever is new coming in the market for in terms of education, be it so I just a couple of days back I saw this course of MBA for
Mm-hmm.
6+ year old children onwards.
Wow.
So I was like astonished. I was shocked. I'm like, I don't know what are we expecting from our kids. However, I know they are very smart. The generation has really become very technical, very skillful. However, it's very important to let them live the age they are in. So it's a humble request to all the parents. Yes, do pay attention to their academics, to their education, to their career. Having said that, ensure that you do not get carried away with that market thing that, oh, there's a coding course, or there's an MBA course, or there's something else. So let them just be the way they are, because they'll never get back this age. So yeah, I think that answers our question. And with this, we are up with the next question to you. I'm just firing and shooting all the questions back to back.
Sure, I love questions. Yeah.
So how do you think can we uh, okay, I personally also feel this, there's a challenge with, because children today are way
Mhm.
ahead of our expectation. So if you
Right.
give an iPhone to somebody who's of my age, will take at least good number of days or sometimes even months to get used to that iPhone. If you give that iPhone or maybe an Android phone or whatever to child who's maybe 6 years plus, even 5, they'll be like very quick. Next day, they'll be up, I think even lesser than that. They'll be up with
Right.
all the, features the phone has. So technically, they're very sound. They're way ahead of what we think. But then there is a lack of taking the instructions. There is something missing when it comes to, you tell them what to do and they will do it as it is. There is
Right.
how do you think can we, because they have a lot of brains, they have a lot of energy, how do we channelize that energy, how do we put that in the right direction by using this instruction method? And how can we actually add this teaching of how to take instructions for their betterment? So how do you think that can be done without disturbing the current curriculum of whatever academics and whatever they are doing right now?
Right. I think one important way is creating mind maps. So if you go, what it happens with mind maps is, you don't do a lot of work there. You just create some kind of a flow charts where you're actually talking less and, making your student or, making your child understand what they are good at. So what it happens is, when you show something, to a child in a pictorial, in that format, so
Mhm.
they believe like, this is something which is working. But when you try to say them face to face, or when you try to just give them some random instructions, they don't believe it. But when they see pictures,
Mhm.
when you talk less, but you post pictures somewhere, or you just take a printout, maybe a printout or something like that, so it just creates curiosity in their mind. They're
Mhm.
like, maybe this is true or maybe this is false, and they try to believe it, to be honest. So maybe asking them right questions, what they really like about that, and then try to design things according to what they want instead of what we want. So once we understand what they want, then it's so easy to make them follow instructions, because once we ask the right questions, they're definitely going to give the right answers, right? So we need to identify those right questions by creating curiosity, because the more a child is curious, the more it will open up. But if the child is not at all curious, he's not going to follow any instructions, because he's again going to go back to Facebook, he's again going to go back to Instagram or to all those online games which he's playing regularly, right? But if you talk less and let the pictures do the work, I believe there's a right way to get things done. So I feel using all kind of mind maps and all kind of the analytics and the tools which we already have available for free can help a lot in making those students to take instructions and follow them positively.
Absolutely. I think I'm going to try that one.
Perfect.
So just a follow-up question to that you now used about social media.
Mhm.
Um, so screen time is there. That's the bitter truth of today's time. Okay, and we got to accept that, and we got to give that free hand to our kids that they are in front of the screen. What do you prefer, or what do you suggest is fine for a child? Is it a half an hour of TV? Is it a half an hour of game on maybe phone or a laptop? Or is it a half an hour of social media? So all are on screen, all are like almost same thing for me. What do you think should be given, or is a better option for a child?
I mean, I believe it has to be again designed with reinforcement. Okay, so something could be a positive as a negative result. So, for example, I want a kid to not watch TV, or let's say a particular show for 1 hour. Okay, so I want them for 1 hour to switch off that. So if they do that, I give them some positive reinforcement. Let me give them a 5 star. So what it happens is they have something as a bait. So when you do that, I believe, students will be very happy to take that kind of an instruction, and they'll actually follow that. So when we give this kind of a reinforcements, there are highly likely chances, as per psychology, that we tend to, get those things done that way. So I highly recommend parents and teachers, if you want to get something done, if you want that student, not to watch TV, or, not to do social media, there's nothing bad in doing social media. But yes, if you do too much, so I recommend, to do less. So out of those three options, there's no correct or wrong as per me. It again depends on the child, how many hours they are totally consuming. So for example, if somebody is consuming, 5 hours in social media, so then you should try to reduce that, to 3 hours or 4 hours, right? So depending upon each use cases, we can decide which one to reduce, but there has to be a positive or a negative reinforcement, so that they definitely can follow the instruction, and then they can, definitely not disappoint you that way.
Right, right, right. So with that, probably one last question, again, a follow-up question.
Mm-hmm.
So now that you said that, we should reward them basically for what they do, and we should fix rewards. In our times, that wasn't the case. In fact, rather
Right.
that was absolutely opposite. So we were just all given the task and we were like never rewarded. So do you think, th- don't you think this will leave an impact on a child, wherein he is grown up with a mindset that, okay, I will be rewarded for everything good that I do, right? Which is ideally good, but there are situations wherein I'm not, probably as a parent, I'm not
Mm-hmm.
able to reward with what he is expecting, or the
Right.
child wants. So don't you think this will, on a long run, if we practice this for a long time, on a long run, this is going to be another challenge to manage, maybe on a later stage, or this is how he's going to see the world, that tomorrow if I'm in a corporate, if I've done something really nice, I should be rewarded. However, how corporates differently they work, right?
Right.
Completely different. So don't you think they will inculcate a habit of getting rewarded for every little thing, and they would expect that, and that might lead to bad performance, or maybe not doing things at this age, because they feel that, okay, last time I did something very small, but then I wasn't rewarded. So I mean, are you getting what am I trying to say
I'm
here?
getting, absolutely. I mean, I definitely understand, because our times we used to get maybe pocket money. That's the only thing we could get as reward. But right now you could have different ways. Yeah, you're correct. Because at a certain extent, their mind will think like, every time when I do something nice, so I have to get that, so that mindset, it happens. So then you need to create some kind of, a scarcity kind of a situation. So this only works for this week. Okay. So this is not, you need to tell them like, this is not forever kind of an offer. Just like in marketing, we have, it's like, limited for a particular period of time. And you have to say, this is not something which will work in every situation. So this is just something which is created just for you, because I feel you should definitely get rewarded because you're doing an amazing job. But this does not work for everyone out there. So we need to clarify that well in advance, because they shouldn't take us for granted, because at the end, then they would say like, I will, I will only score 75% in 12, so I'm going to get this reward confirmed. So so that kind of situation shouldn't happen like that. So I recommend like, to create some kind of ground rules way in advance, so that they understand this is a limited time, where we are getting them rewards, and it's not something everyone will give you reward, right? So because people are different, and even in corporates, for example, so there's a limit of getting rewards. You cannot get Amazon vouchers for every kind of your work. So it's like sometimes they have offers or something, just like marketing, right? So we need to tell them very clearly, like, this is a limited time thing, and this is specially created for you just because you're wonderful, something like that.
Absolutely. I think, yes, that makes a lot of sense that one, we should have ground rules. Two, let's keep changing it. Let's keep
Right.
changing the reward. This time it might be that, okay, you're getting something. Next time it might be like, okay, we are going out, or maybe something else. So we can keep changing and experimenting those things. I think that's a lovely idea. And being a parent, I have got a lot of points to note down and experiment on my kid. So I will try all of those. Anything else would you like to add for our audience? who'll be watching us later on other different various social media channels?
I mean, just to add is, give your, child or student a little bit time. Okay. So don't hurry on things. What generally happens is they see some other kid or some other student doing pretty well. They're getting 90%. So they're like, you also have to get a 90%. You also have to get that, 12 lakhs ka package from this specific company, seeing all those media, things. So it's like 1 in 100 might get that, right? Or maybe 1 in 1,000. So every child is special. We need to, understand that. So we should never run on the, as you mentioned, on the marketing things and all, and give your time a little bit, a little bit time for your child. Let them grow and understand what they actually want in the career. Just like when we were kids, we were not sure what we want in career, but now we are getting, little bit sure. Okay, this is something which I thought in the past, but to be honest, when you go back to your childhood, you will be like, no, I wanted to do so many things, but right now it's completely different. Same thing might happen with child, they might want to do something, but then at the end, they end up doing something else. So give them a little time, spend some time together right now, especially during pandemic, and understand what they exactly want. Once you know that, then definitely every reward system, anything can work, and do wonders for them.
I know this reminds me of this. I don't know how many of us remember this. MyExam.ai had put this post on one of our social media handles as well. There's this Bonvita ad which had really hit the market, and it was talk of the town that point of time, wherein the principal calls all the parents before the exam, and she said, "Exam aane wale hain and bahut maza aayega. How many marks did you all get?" None of the parents remembered. And that's what the principal was trying to tell the parents, that today, I was like, what, 75-80% of student in my school, and today I'm the principal of your children. So this is how the world is. So I think we should encourage what creativity, what different, what new our kids have, and do, of course, focus on their education, but do not enforce things forcefully. Do not push them too hard to do something. I think that's interesting. Right. Thank you so much, Abhilekh. So, guys, please do watch this episode on our YouTube, on our Insta. Links will be shared everywhere. Do share with all the parents, all the teachers. Abhilekh is been into teaching for quite a number of years as well. And when you are dealing with students, need not to be a very certified counselor. You actually learn with a lot of students. So I think that's where Abhilekh stands, and that's why he has a lot of knowledge about how to manage different age groups probably. So thank you so much once again, Abhilekh, for your time, and let us catch up for the next show some other time, and would love to have you one more time, maybe probably in the next month or sometime later. Thank you so much.
My pleasure having you here. Thank you so much. And I appreciate everyone joining, and, getting a lot of value here. So I believe MyExam.ai is also going to rock, in 2021.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your wishes. Thanks, Abhilekh. See ya. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.